and the kappa constant. So what is the process that actually occurs through this recombination? So if we look just at the numbers, 38 variable regions and about 5 joining segments, up to 5 joining segments, will not actually produce a diverse amount of antibody if you do the maths. And so what happens is that actually new nucleotides can be added during the VJ recombination process to increase the diversity and specificity of each antibody. To learn how new nucleotides are actually added in, we have to learn about the recombinational process itself, and so the proteins involved in it, etc. So if we take a part of the kappa light chain gene, for example, we have 3 variable segments and 2 joining segments, V1, V2, V3, and J1 and J2. Now the segments, the V and J segments that can undergo recombination have a specific motif called the RSS, the recombination segment sequence. And the recombination segment sequence can either be a 23 base pair spacer or a 12 base pair spacer. Within the kappa light chain gene, the variable segments usually have the 12 base pair spacer, basically 12 base pairs in between a heptamer and nanomer sequences. And the joining segments, the J segments, usually have the 23 base pair spacer in between the heptamer and the nanomer sequences. Now these motifs, the RSS, have a specific special rule called a 23-12 rule, where essentially only a 12 and a 23 can bind together. So for example, V1 and V2 cannot bind together because they both are 12 base pair sequences. Same as V2 and V3, they can't. J1 and J2, they can't. But V2 and J1 can. Now in order for recombination to occur, there are 2 ways to initiate recombination using the 23-12 rule. One is for the gene to create a hairpin loop, essentially. So here we can see a hairpin loop formation where V2 and J1 are parallel with each other. And so the 12 base spacer and the 23 base spacer with the heptamer and nanomer sequences on either side can undergo recombination. And through recombination, essentially proteins, certain proteins which we will look into soon, will cut off these base pair sequences, and so we're left with V2 and J1 bound together, like so. And then through VJ recombination,